So it has been more than 2 weeks of free agency for the Dallas Cowboys, and it is time we discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly, including how a simple miscalculation might have cost them some key players. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Mauricio Rodriguez here at ADZ Sports Dallas. The Cowboys could still make some more additional moves in free agency this offseason, but in all likelihood, they've done most of what they're going to do before the NFL draft. And I think it is time for us to get into some key takeaways. Sure, they could add Keenan Allen. Maybe they do add Calais Campbell. Maybe we can get all crazy and think they're going to sign Asante Samuel at a cornerback. But I find it unlikely, really, at this point. But the Cowboys have made a lot of moves. They have added 11 outside players, and I don't plan on going signing by signing, but rather touch on 3 takeaways that I think we all should have, and we're going to split those into the good, the bad, and the ugly. So how about we start with some positives here? The good of the Cowboys free agency, I think, is the fact that they really addressed plenty of the issues across the defensive line. Not all of them, and there is one key problem they haven't fixed, and I'm going to get into that later, but I think they had 3 problems at defensive line going into this year's free agency, and they solved 2 of them. Number 1, they needed better defensive end depth. DeMarcus Lawrence left, and that left Marshawn Kneeland and Sam Williams to back up Micah Parsons. I am excited about Kneeland's growth, and I believe Sam Williams, if healthy, can still be a very good rotational player, but I don't think they have something safe other than Micah Parsons, or they didn't before hitting free agency. In free agency, they did add Dante Fowler Jr., however, who I think is one of the best signings they made this free agency, because he is somebody that honestly you can live with as your number 2. He's going to come in, be productive, and he might not be the best run defender, but he is a very solid pass rusher. And if you can get him on the field, especially on late downs, I think Dante Fowler Jr. is going to do his part. Sure, he was a little bit of a draft bust at first, early on in his career, but Dante Fowler Jr. over the last 3 years, 2 of them in Dallas, another in Washington, he has been playing some of his best football yet. And last year, he proved he can be a starter in the NFL. And I think if the Cowboys don't address defensive end early in the NFL draft, then Fowler Jr. is likely going to be your number 2 opposite of Micah Parsons. Additionally, they got a Peyton Turner who has some upside. He's been hurt for most of his career, and I do look forward to seeing what the former first-rounder can do if he stays healthy. The number 2 problem the Cowboys fixed at defensive line was depth at defensive tackle. When the Cowboys got Ozo Odighizuwa, one of the things that I said was they still need more defensive tackle help. Solomon Thomas gives that to the Cowboys, and Ozo is going to have another 3 technique to stay fresh and be more dangerous in 2025. The problem they did not address, however, is nose tackle. Other than Mauricio Smith, the Cowboys have really no one to bet on, and even Mauricio Smith is someone that should be competing for his job, honestly. And I'm talking about being a starter. Maybe as a backup, he should be safe, but I don't think he's done enough for us to be confident in him as a starting nose tackle of this team. Hopefully the Cowboys address that at some point. Let's get into the bad, and I think that is the fact that the Cowboys did not improve the starting lineup at all. They got worse, honestly, but I will focus specifically at wide receiver. The Cowboys could have targeted, and still could, a wide receiver in this year's free agency class. It felt like there was a lot of value out there. The Cowboys have not done that, however, and that means that if the Cowboys had to play a game today, Kevontae Turpin and Jalen Tolbert would likely be lining up as starters. Now, let me be honest with you. That is capital B bad. Turpin might be a solid player in a limited role, but I don't think he can be a consistent playmaker when lined up at wide receiver. I even question if he would be durable in that role based on his weight. And as far as Jalen Tolbert goes, I just don't think he's proven he can be a number 2. He's good in contested catch situations, but he does have some drop issues, and I don't view him as a separation guy, or at least he hasn't done that early in his career, and I don't view him as someone that you can really bet on as a number 2. And then there's Jonathan Mingo, Ryan Flournoy, but, there's no proven talent, really, other than CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys, and that's a problem. At this point, I really feel like if the Cowboys are going to add someone that can truly make an impact, it's either going to be in the first round of the NFL draft, or it's going to have to be someone like Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. But until proven otherwise, this is firmly in the bad category for me. And last, but certainly not least, the ugly. I think the ugliest part of the Cowboys free agency so far has to be that they lost Rico Dowdle and they lost Jordan Lewis, and it likely happened because they miscalculated their price range. If you think about it, Rico Dowdle went for a very cheap deal to the Carolina Panthers. He got a lot of incentives, but he's getting less base money than Javonte Williams is from Dallas. And if you look at Rico contracts numbers, there's a lot of incentives. Sure, he can double his money, but he's making less money than Javonte Williams is on the base level. Now, his incentives are very achievable, and he would have cashed in on those for the most part in 2024. However, the Cowboys could have made a deal work. And I wonder if the Cowboys just miscalculated how expensive he was going to be and just rushed into marriage with Javonte Williams, which is definitely ugly. The same could be said about Jordan Lewis. Sure, he got a big deal from the Jacksonville Jaguars, got paid, highest nickel paid in the NFL, nickel cornerback specifically, though. And man, I'm just going to say it. They could have done that deal. It was very manageable. And I wonder if the Cowboys also mispriced him a little bit. Maybe they thought he was going to end up signing for even more money, and that's why they stayed out of it and just let him walk in free agency that easily. The Cowboys could have made it work, though, with their salary cap situation, even without getting creative, which is one of our biggest complaints, that they don't get creative. But the Cowboys, I think, they get worse at running back, they get worse at cornerback, and it could have been avoided easily. But it just feels like they thought it was going to be a different market for them, and it's never a good look for the front office to be in that spot. So those are my biggest takeaways from free agency. Let me know yours in the comments, and I'll see you again here soon in A to Z Sports Dallas.